Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to WhatsMap, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Well, it's Friday. Friday's the day of the week we turn to the BonBon buddies over on Patreon and say, hey guys, vote us in a map. And they've gone with this one. Now, it's a request map requested by the retired Mandalorian over on Discord. The link to the Discord channel will be on your screen in a moment, and as always is linked into the description. Now, not only is
It's my first map.
but it's also their first theme as well. And while the map is strong, it's strong, don't get me wrong, nothing wrong with the map at all, the theme is exceptional. I am really taken by the theme, and I hope a lot of people use it because it really does shine. Speaking of shining, can your finger shine for me? That's right, polishing your finger on the like button is a really good way of supporting the channel, getting me seen by more people and help me grow a little bit more every single day. Thank you for your support. Today's map is Angel's Canyon by PorkNuggets. Now, if nothing else, I am now hungry. That's how this works, isn't it? Let's have a look at the start square. There we are, not too much to see there. It's fairly flat. We have a highway. We have a little bit of rail. Is that rail? Yes, that's rail. And we have a bit of water as well. We've got terrain heights that are properly eroded. I've got to say, there's some erosion going on here. And we have resources that are good and strong. And with the texturing that's been included, do you know what? Looks stunning. If you have Sunset Harbour and you want to do some fishing, well, this is your fishing map. It's not the most exciting, but it is what it is. Okay, off to the workshop. What do we need? Well, no DLC required today. We'll be using the Angel's Canyon map theme from PorkNuggets, which I've already told you is exceptional. And we'll be using Reaper's photorealistic LUT, because that's the one that's recommended. Big shout outs to Mr. Miyagi, Bloody Penguin, Clyte, and the people over on Overcharged Eggs Discord channel as well. Always good to see all of those things. Other than that, 100% vanilla. Now, for me, the negative thing about the map, if you can call it negative, the plains are very plain. Now, what more can you do? Now, an experienced creator can actually make the plains come to life. And as a first map, honestly, there's nothing wrong with what you're seeing here. It's lacking the splendor and the magnificence of a top creator's plains. This is the worst part of the map, and it's not bad. We have good, clean highway. We've got a strong highway. It's not broken. We've got traffic running in both directions. The amount of times we see a broken highway with no traffic on one side or both, that's not happening here. But I'm having to fill here because, well, while we have got some scattered rocks and vanilla trees around, which adds a little bit, it just doesn't really grab. So yes, something that maybe PorkNuggets can work on is how to fill the empty parts of a map, and it is not easy. It is not an easy thing to do. I'm not saying it. If I had a straightforward, what you want to do is, well, actually, what I would have done is I would have converted a few. We've got a few like deserty type bowls on the plains. I probably would have included a few more of those just to break things up a little bit. And maybe some patches of light forest or that kind of thing, that kind of vegetation, rather than just having it scattered thinly. That said, again, I can't really fault what has happened here because you can go around the world and find landscape that looks exactly like this. Thinking Mongolia? Yeah, Mongolia. It's very much like Mongolia. Not those mountains though. No, these mountains, when we get to those mountains, you are going to love it. Honestly, you will. And this again, the theme will just bring the whole thing to life. Now, here's our intersection. This is the main, not the start square intersection, but the main intersection on the map. And it looks okay. There's a little bit down here that I think I'd just like to see tweaked a little bit. This left turn here, the traffic is just having to break away from the straight line. And that's easily fixed with the Move It tool. We just move that, drag that out until it pops. There we go, it pops like that. And we could tweak it even more and make it look even more polished, but Yeah, just popping out that little bump there, and it just looks a lot cleaner. Highway goes all the way off to the edge of the map over there. We're not going that way because really very disinteresting. But some good vanilla rock work around that intersection just to make it come to life a little bit. And if you have a look down here, with the non-flat terrain and a little bit more foliage, this starts coming to life. And this now becomes a far more interesting map. So there's credit. There's credit. At least 60 or 70% of the map I would call as good. And let's say there's just the extra bit, which is a little bit nondescript. I think that's probably the best word for it, is nondescript. Heading across to the... it's not really a big old bridge. It's a bridge, but we're going to call it's the big old bridge on the map. So we'll say everybody loves a big old bridge. Do have a log just encroaching onto the highway there that can be moved just a smidgen away, just so nobody has an accident. We don't want any accidents, do we? Do we? Confused leaving the city would quite easily hit that, wouldn't they? Then we have yeah, the bridge. It's slick, it's smooth, it's lovely. That is a strong bridge. I'm a big fan. And then heading down to what is actually the Start Square intersection. They've kept it very simple, very similar to the one I used in my 90-minute map attack. When I made Torocha Sea, I used a very similar design to that, and it does the trick. You're going to get a bit of traffic flow issue, but there's plenty of opportunity to put extra intersections along here to mix that one up. Then we have a road over rail. That's quite clean. We've got a bit of road stress where the roads are, but you know what? It's the perfect height. It could be that. It's probably maybe a smidgen higher, or the rail a smidgen lower. But I mean, we're talking one, maybe two taps of the page up, page down button. Nothing really that we're going to be complaining about. We're talking fine detail here, really. No issues at all. And then we're back out to the blandness, the nondescript landscape that just lacks any invention. And that's another thing that's probably missing from these areas. Just a little bit of invention. We have got erosion. I don't want it broken up with loads of hills and ravines. I don't want that. Just want it to be a little bit less, well, glum. And it's a bit glum. Now we are up into the mountains, and this, I did promise you, this is where the map comes to life. First of all, clearly with all of the trees, remember, 100% vanilla, and we've got forests that look really good for it with vanilla trees. I know, it's unbelievable. The rail, there is going to be some gradient discussion. Now, I'm not going to complain about it because I don't think this map pretends to be 100% realistic. I would say this map pretends to be a Cities Skylines map. A map for building a Cities Skylines city. Let's have a little look down this way first of all. Just down here. Where we have a little industrial area. Probably logging, I think. And, of course, everybody's favourite factory. Bum, 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 bum. There it is. Yeah, that's all cool. That's all cool. I like the way we got the logs around where it's been cleared as well. Makes it look like it has actually been cleared, and it's not just like a gap in the forest. Yeah, it's all good. Lovely little bridge over the ravine there. I'm not showing it to you, but it's perfectly fine. The placements of the pillars on either side were perfectly lovely. Cannot complain about that at all. And just the way that the textures are being used to bring the thing to life. But yes, here you feel you've got a bit of a gradient on the climb. It is eyeball noticeable, but it's not jarring. It's not jarring on the eye. So that's, for me, that's the thing. That is the thing. If you can notice it, then it no longer becomes realistic. If it's jarring on the eye, then you're sort of like, well, we've got to mark this down. Like here, we are slowly but surely making our way back down to the plains. Now, obviously, we're dropping quite a long way down. And for this to reach the ground, there are going to be areas where it's just a little bit steeper than that. Yeah, 2 in 100, 3 in 100 is about the maximum, 2 or 3%. About the maximum you want with a rail line. And I'm not checking, because it does not bother me on this particular map. but especially this last stretch here, where you can just make out we are clearly going down the slope, but it's not steep. It's not steep. And so for that, I mean, credit has to be given that they've actually attempted to keep the gradient at a sensible limit on a map like this, where there is a big difference between the high ground and the low ground, and we've managed to actually follow a decent line. So anyway, we are now heading off towards the edge of the map. We've done the highways. We have done the rail. Do you think we've got shipping on this map? Well, you've seen that the rivers are a little bit narrow, so place your bets on that one. We'll also be doing the water flow in the second half of the show, and we're going to be predicting what my ratings are going to be. Yeah, something we haven't done for a while. Getting your guesstimations. We've also got to split the rail that heads off. In that, it goes over that way. We'll just go to the edge of the map.
Are your soggy little Sims constantly getting even more soggy? Are you continuously drowning your trees and soaking your city? Then you need BonBonB's flood management tutorial. Click the information button now.
And so back to Angel's Canyon by PorkNuggets. No, there's no shipping, but we have air routes, so we don't need to worry about that. We can get a nice big airport down in those nondescript plains. Perfect place for a big old airport. You know, go for an international airport. How cool would that be? And even crisscross in the middle there as well, so you can get planes coming from either direction. So that's your extra alert transport. What about that water movement? Well, we have a working river system. As you can see, it's good and it's strong. And it's wide enough and deep enough, I think, to be able to handle whatever you throw at it. So, yeah, we've got a winner. We've got a winner chicken dinner. That's what we have. Let's have a look at the map as a whole. I do love the overall vibe that we get from this map. There's no grumble, especially down here. Now, what we have down here is a canyon which is marked out along the edges in places with some abandoned vehicles. Now, these abandoned vehicles are markers to let you know that this is where PorkNuggets suggests we could put a dam. And I think putting a dam in some of these locations would actually add a little bit of extra life to the map. Just make sure when you do this, though, that you're not going to flood anything which is upstream. And remember that we have is another dam location here. Just remember we have our start square all the way upstream. Now, I've not tested it to see what areas flood, but just be aware that you might be causing some problems, so be careful. Now, look at the textures. This is the theme. For me, as always, the theme is, well, not as always, here today, the theme is the star of the show. The theme is what makes the map look as good as it does, and when PorkNuggets makes the theme, we have to give extra credit for that. So yeah, big shout out for the. I won't be rating the theme, mind you. I'm just saying how good it is, and we can give oral credit. Nice forests, given we're 100% vanilla, and an interesting carved canyon going through the upper ground up there as well. Heading down here, we've got a few of these dust bowls. I'd like to see maybe a few more of these, maybe with a bit more shape put into them to allow for little mini deserts going on. And we've got some of these buttes as well, which again are very nicely done and totally believable. So there's a lot. It's just the flat areas are just a little bit nondescript to me, and just made me want to fall asleep down here. There we go. There you go. I mean, the backdrop is amazing. The backdrop is amazing, but out here, there's just nothing happening. Nothing happening at all. Right, I think we should head over to Start Square. We've seen all of the map now. Let's have a little look for an asset of the day. I'm sure you'll find one. There's usually one down here somewhere. Where are you? I found you, and I should have been practicing this. I should have been practicing the Gründerzeit. I am so sorry. I've been given instructions on how to say this on the Cities Skylines Top 20 show in the comments, and I completely forgotten to practice. Grunder, I remember I was missing the R. Gründerzeit. Apartment 1. Gotta be Zeitz, isn't it? That's where we're going wrong. Gründerzeit, Apartment 1 by Pewex. Pewex, star creator. Great looking thing. It's missing chimneys, but the recommendation is to add them in yourself. It's all on the workshop. Have a read and you'll want this yourself. Factoids, because factoids, very quickly. A Boeing 707 uses 4,000 gallons of petrol to reach the top of its takeoff climb. 4,000 gallons of petrol just to get up. Ooh, it's going to smell. Anyway, Gründerzeit, Apartment 1 by Pewex. That is very nice work indeed, as always. As always, it's Pewex. Pewex doesn't do bad work. Or if they do, they don't upload it, so good for them. Good for them. Anyway, speaking of good work, what do you think of today's map? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Click the I button now, takes you to the voting page where you can vote for free. And now, pause the video and have a guess what my ratings are going to be. Right, have you unpaused it? Good, I'm glad you're back. What do I think? Aesthetically, I think it's interesting. It's got some very strong 4-star areas. They've got that whole chunk of land there, which is just... nondescript is the word I'm sticking with. Nondescript, it's not bad, but I think it drags it down. Does it drag it down to being a 3-star map? I think almost. I'm going to go for a very low 4 stars. Just being held back by the blandness of the bland areas. Detailing. There's not really too much to say. I would like to see more. In fact, there's plenty of map that is asking for more. So I'm going to go for a medium-high 3 because there's nothing wrong with it. It's perfectly lovely, but it doesn't pop for me. Gameplay potential. I'm not seeing anything wrong with the map, but I'm not seeing anything that inspires me to want to play it. I like some of the areas of it, but I'm going to go 3 stars down the middle. Pass mark, nothing wrong with that. Should be played. Angel's Canyon by PorkNuggets. This is going to definitely appeal to a certain type of player. And if you're that sort of player, get in there. There's nothing wrong with that map. I'm probably got a European bias that doesn't feel that kind of vibe of map. So yes, do jump in and enjoy it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, for commenting, for liking, and for subscribing, and for still being here at the very end, which makes you part of the 20 and out elite. Use the words of the day into the comments to score yourself 100 population points just for fun. I'll be back tomorrow with another map.